Last year I reviewed the Redmi Note 14 Pro and asked a simple question. Does it actually deserve the Pro badge? Honestly, I wasn't convinced. It was a solid phone, but it lacked the flagship DNA to truly earn the title. So for 2026, I've stepped up to the big guns and went for the Note 15 Pro plus 5G, which, as you can see on the screen, is the top of the very complicated line. For 500 of your hard-earned eddies, is this the phone that finally delivers on the Pro promise? Or is it just another decent smartphone for reasonable price? Let's find out. And before we begin, let me know what other phones you can grab in that price range. At first glance, the build quality is really nice. Although it sounds plasticky, it looks pretty solid and well assembled. I have the sky blue variant, but you can also get it in black or a brown version that is finished in vegan leather. The camera island still looks like a gas stove, just like last year, but on the plus side, it's centered and doesn't stick out much. That is a double-edged sword though. On one hand, it's great because the phone won't wobble like crazy when you're typing on a desk. On the other hand, it might signal some compromises. Flagships usually have massive camera bumps because they're housing huge sensors and advanced periscope lenses. With a profile this flat, we'll have to see if the hardware can actually keep up. Still, the phone looks and feels truly premium. It features a flat aluminum frame with subtle curves where it meets the glass. The display is also curved on the edges. Some people love this, it looks modern and high-end, but it comes with a catch: screen protectors. You can forget about tempered glass. You're pretty much stuck with protective films, which, surprisingly, this one doesn't come with one pre-installed from factory. And although the glass itself is Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2, we all know how that goes in the real world. Accidents happen. As for the panel itself, it's stunning. We're looking at a 1.5K AMOLED display with beautifully saturated, well-calibrated colors. The peak brightness is supposed to hit 3200 nits, and while you rarely see that number in daily use, it's more than bright enough for comfortable viewing, even under direct sunlight. There's one downside though. This is an LTPS panel, not LTPO. That means it can toggle between 60 Hz and 120 Hz, but it can't drop down to 1 Hz. So consequently, you don't get a true always-on display. It only kicks in when you tap on it. Quick note, the in-display fingerprint sensor works perfectly. No complaints here. The speakers are stereo, and they're surprisingly capable for a smartphone. They're loud enough to fill a room while you're listening to a podcast or some music while cooking. Performance-wise, we're looking at a solid setup. The Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 paired with either 8GB or 12GB of RAM. It's not Qualcomm's absolute flagship chip, but it's still fresh, having launched in May of last year, and it's still a solid chip. More importantly, I expect this level of performance to hold up for several years. In daily use, it's snappy. Switching between apps is seamless, and it's powerful enough to edit Reels or TikToks without a hitch. And when the sun goes down, playing your favorite games is a smooth, high-quality experience. Under the hood, we have a massive 6500 mAh battery. Xiaomi used a silicon carbon technology here, which is how they managed to keep the phone so slim despite the huge capacity. It supports 100 watts hypercharging, which is incredible power. I only had a 90 watts Xiaomi charger on hand during testing, but even with that, it took less than 30 minutes to top up. Most people don't wait until their phone hits 0%. I usually plugged it in around 20–25% and it was ready to go in a few moments. From a total blackout, you're looking at about 40 to 45 minutes for a full 100% charge. A feature I personally love is reverse charging. You can literally plug your headphones into your phone to give them a boost if they die before you get home, for example. Just keep in mind that in the box you'll only find a cable, no charging brick. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of tech in 2026. Charging bricks, headphone jacks, SD card slots, they're becoming relics of the past. There is a bit of a head scratcher when it comes to water resistance. Xiaomi claims both IP66 and IP68 certifications. I'm not sure if something's getting lost in translation, but usually a phone either meets the pressure standards for IP68 or it doesn't, right? So to be safe, I'd avoid swimming with this or submerging it. It'll handle rain or a splash just fine, but don't go throwing it into a pool unless you have to. Now looking at the back, it looks like there are 4 cameras, but don't let the design fool you. Only 2 of those circles are actually camera lenses. One of them is a flash, and I believe the other is a depth sensor. Main camera is a massive 200 megapixel lens. It's bright, sharp, and honestly hard to find fault with. It also handles all your zooming digitally, and while it's no dedicated periscope lens, the results are decent. Ultrawide is an 8 megapixel lens, and this one is noticeably less impressive. The detail just isn't there, but at least the color profile matches the main sensor. I think it's good enough for most people, but for anything serious, you'll want to stick to the main 200 megapixel camera. When it comes to shooting videos, the phone recorded 4K at 30 FPS beautifully, but here we go again, just like last year, Redmi still hasn't included 4K at 60 FPS. For a phone with Pro Plus in the name, 4K 60 feels like the bare minimum for a flagship experience in 2026. On the bright side, the stabilization is solid and the colors look very realistic. For software, we're running Android 15 with HyperOS 2, and I have to say, it feels very stable and intuitive at this point. You get the full suite of AI tools. You can remove photo bombers from your shots, or even have the AI draw in elements that weren't there. But object removal is definitely the more practical feature here. You also get Google Gemini and Circle to Search integrated into the system. But the biggest problem I have are the ads. Even after removing the pre-installed bloatware, the phone still tries to nudge you to buy themes or download apps you definitely don't need. The Redmi Note 15 Pro Plus 5G is a very capable mid-ranger. It's clear where the compromises were made, and at $500, the competition is fierce. You could grab a Poco with a faster chip or even a last-gen flagship from another brand for similar money. But if you're already in the Xiaomi ecosystem and want a phone that's smooth, has a gorgeous screen, great battery life, and can survive a drop, this isn't a bad choice. However, as far as the name goes, Xiaomi still hasn't sold me. It's a great phone, but it's just not Pro for me. I've been Miles, and you're now miles ahead. Thanks for watching. Let me know what do you think of this phone in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.